Well, hello everyone, and welcome to Summit Alliance Advantage training that we have every Thursday here. Today we're going to be going over Transamerica's final expense product. You know, guys, Transamerica is a phenomenal company. They have great products. Their final expense product is one of the most competitive products on the market, just all the way around. And they have basically they have their immediate solution. They have their 10-pay solution. They also have their easy solution, and we're going to talk about that today. Briefly, my name is Jason Martinez, and again, you are on the Summit Alliance Advantage Thursday training call. Real quick, to just jump right into it, as I mentioned, you know, we're going to be going over the immediate solution product, which is Transamerica's final expense product. You know, Transamerica has had a final expense product for a very long time, and it's always been very competitive. You know, with the just kind of looking at some of the parameters here, level premiums till age 121. You know, most products, most final expense products are level premiums to age 121. Issue ages 0 to 85. Now, you know, you'll note that most final expense products start at like 45 or 50. But with Transamerica, again, you can go below that. You can go down, you know, from 0 to 85. Now, keep in mind, if your client is from ages 0 to 44, it's a different application. It's the 0 to 44 application. They have a 45 to 85 application, which we'll briefly go over today. But they do have their final expense application. They have 2 of them for those age ranges, so keep that in mind. Also, take note, for those of you in Washington, the issue ages are a little bit different. For males, it goes up to 65. For females, it goes up to 71. So you have that little bit of a difference there in the state of Washington. Also, the minimum issue amount is $1,000. You know, it's good to have a product in your back pocket with the low face amount. You know, some people, you know, are opting to become cremated because the cost of traditional funeral is you know, they don't want to leave that expenses with their family. So, you know, they're utilizing, you know, the ability to become cremated just because it's that much less expensive than your traditional funeral. Also, if you look at the maximum issue amounts, if from 0 to 55, you can cover all the way up to $50,000. If you have someone that's 56 to 65, you can cover all the way up to $40,000. That's your typical age range. And then from 66 to 75, you can cover all the way up to $30,000. And then even all the way from 76 to 85, you can cover all the way up to $25,000. So, you know, very flexible in the amounts, very flexible in the ages, and, you know, just a flexible product all the way around. Now, that's the immediate solution product, which is their final expense. Then they have the 10-pay solution. Now, notice the biggest difference, if you look back here, level premiums to age 121 for the premium pay period. On the 10-pay solution, that's basically stating that they pay for it for 10 years and it's a paid-up policy. So they have the option to get the, you know, your traditional final expense whole life policy, which they pay on a monthly basis for until, you know, the time comes, or they can get a 10-pay solution, which they pay on for 10 years, and then it's paid up and they don't have to pay anything after that. Everything else is the same on this product. So again, it's just another option for you to have. You may have a client that says, you have something that can be paid up. And, you know, well, right here you have a great 10-pay solution for final expense and with Transamerica. And the parameters are pretty much the same as the immediate solution. Of course, it covers from age 0 to 85, same ages in Washington. It has the same low face amount of $1,000, and then it goes all the way up to $50,000 from 0 to 55. And from 56 to 65, 40,000, 66 to 75, 30,000, and again, from 76 to 85, you can cover all the way up to 25,000. So pretty much the same parameters. The biggest difference, again, between the immediate solutions and the 10-pay is the fact that this policy can be paid up in 10 years. So again, it's another great option for your clients, you know, if they're looking to have something that they can have paid up. Then they have the easy solution. Now, we just covered the immediate solution. We just covered the 10-pay solution. Both of those are immediate death benefit products. Their easy solution is designed for clients whose medical challenges may be a little bit more extreme, who do not qualify for the immediate solution or the 10-pay solution. And then you're looking at the age limits are a little bit different. It covers up to age 80, not 85. The birthdays in Pennsylvania, or the ages in Pennsylvania, are a little bit different, from 18 to 70, and then from 18 to 76. And then also the minimum face amount is the same at $1,000. The minimum in Pennsylvania is $5,000. So for those of you in Pennsylvania, just take note of that. And then the maximum issue amount is $25,000. Now, what's great about that is a lot of what are considered graded policies, which Easy Solution is a graded policy. They have a maximum of $10,000, or it's normally a low face amount. You can at least get $25,000 with this Easy Solution product. You know, endows at age 121, covers them all the way up till age 121. And the death benefit, how it works is the death benefit during the first 2 policy years is based on the face amount for accidental death of insured, you know, or will be limited to 110% of the sum of the premiums paid minus a loan balance, if there's a loan balance, for the death of the insured for any other cause. So, and then death benefit after the first 2 years is paid in the full amount. Now, basically what that's saying is during the first 2 years, if a death occurs due to natural causes, they'll pay back 110% of the premiums paid, basically 10% in addition to what they've paid for the coverage up to that point. If it's due to an accident, it will pay the full death benefit during those first 2 years. And then for any natural cause death after the first 2 years, the full death benefit will be paid. So that's again, it's a graded policy. The Easy Solution, again, it's designed for the clients that do not qualify for the immediate solution or for the 10-pay solution. So again, another great option for your clients, you know, to at least provide some type of coverage no matter what type of medical challenge that you run into. You're always going to have an option. With, you know, between the carriers, you're always going to have an option. With Transamerica, you're going to have that graded benefit option for your client. With the additional benefits and riders that can be added, just keep in mind the accelerated death benefit rider and the accelerated death benefit rider with nursing home benefit are automatically included. Unfortunately, not in New York. The nursing home option is not available in New York, but you do have the accelerated death benefit rider, which the accelerated death benefit rider, if diagnosed with a terminal illness, gives them access to a large percentage of the policy. And then also, if they're confined to a nursing home, they can also have the, access to a large portion of the death benefit. Then they have optional riders. They have an accidental death benefit rider. Can be issued from ages 18 to 70, but basically allows them to add additional coverage if the death is due to an accident. So, of course, it would pay the death benefit for that they originally set it up for, and if it was due to an accident, then it would pay the additional accident benefit there as well. So that can be added to the policy if the client chooses. Another benefit that can be added is a children's and grandchildren's benefit rider. You can cover all the way up to 9 children under one policy, one premium, up to $5,000 per child. You know, so again, you're paying the one premium to cover up to 9 children, up to $5,000 per child, and so another great rider that can be added to the policy. Now, running quotes with Transamerica is very easy. You can simply bookmark this link on your browser or your smartphone. You can gain access to this link. You know, we can send me a message. We can email it to you. You can contact Transamerica. You can log on to AgentNet Info if you have not already. If you're contracted with Transamerica, that is Transamerica's agent back office. You know, that gives you access to order materials. If you attended the training, you know, last week, I went over, you know, the things to order from carriers. As a matter of fact, attached to this webinar. If you look at the handout section of the webinar, you're going to see a copy of the sample application. It's a Texas application, so, but you will have that example, which we'll go over here shortly. There's also an agent guide. You want the agent guide for the product that you're looking at, and then you also want the client brochure. You know, the client brochures, you know, just a nice glossy, you know, nice looking marketing piece that you can utilize in the client's home if you need, or just to have on hand. It actually makes a great quick reference, you know, to go over the product. And so those are attached to the training today, so make sure and download those handouts, and at the same time log on to AgentNet Info and order that material. That way they send it out to you at no cost. You can order that information and it shows up to your you know, to your home or office, home office, either way, in a matter of days. So again, real quick, we're going to run over some quotes, and simply this is the browser that you'll go to. And again, once you go there, bookmark it, save it in your smartphone, your tablet, your laptop, or wherever you're going to run your quotes from. But as you go there, this is what it's going to look like. It brings up your quoting page where you set up the client. I'm going to run the quote here in Texas, just for this example. You can select male or female. This example will select male. If they're a tobacco user or not, in this case, we'll just do non-tobacco. And let's just say the current age of this client is 60 years old. So we have a 60-year-old male and living in Texas that is a non-smoker. So basically set up the client parameters. Now here's where you're going to select the product. Now some people may be a little confused on this. This is why I'm glad we got to go over this here. LP 121 Preferred. That is your immediate solution product. LP 121 Standard. That is also your immediate solution product. What's great about this is you have both of them are immediate death benefits. So they have a preferred rating and then they have a standard rating. We'll get into how to classify or qualify your client for that here shortly. But as you run the quote, most cases your client's actually going to qualify for preferred. And you'll see that as we go into the application and here shortly. But as most of your clients qualify for preferred, we'll say that this gentleman qualifies for preferred. They're going to do a monthly bank draft. And let's say he's just looking for $10,000. He's looking for just enough to have a decent funeral. He's not too concerned with anything else, so we'll put no on the accidental death. We'll put no on the grandchildren's rider, and then you simply hit calculate. And it gives you the premium right here in this yellow highlighted bar. It's $43.70 for a 60-year-old male to have $10,000 in coverage. So he's looking at that. He's thinking, hey, that's not bad. Well, I may want to add the accidental. So you can add the accidental and run the calculation, and you can see it adds a few dollars to basically double the death benefit if the death is due to an accident. So in this case, instead of having the $10,000 death benefit for $43, he can add the accidental for $46.50, and it would pay $10,000 for a natural death, and then an additional $10,000 if it was due to an accident, for a total of $20,000. So, you know, easy to run quotes here. You know, let's say they wanted the 10 pay. So he's, well, you know, I don't want to pay, I'm going to live forever. I don't want to pay $46.50 forever, so I want to be paid up in 10 years. Well, let's take a look. That same, of course, that premium is going to go up. So, but he only has to pay on it for 10 years. So this gentleman at age 70 will be done paying with this policy. He will have his final expense in place for only $77.70 a month. So, you know, very flexible on the options. You know, a great program. Many different ways to calculate. If you need to run a new quote, you just simply hit new quote. If you need to make a change in the age, you just simply hit back and you can make a change. And you can, it's very easy to run your quote. So hopefully, you know, again, if you want to change the face amount, let's say that's easy for his budget. I can, you know, I didn't realize how inexpensive it would be. I can look at more coverage. So he wants to look at $15,000. You simply change the death benefit and the 10 pay preferred instead of, I think it was $77.70. You know, now it's $114 to get $15,000. You know, again, you can take that back. Well, I want $15,000, but I want to stay a little less than that. So you can go back to the LP and bring it back down to $68 a month for the $15,000, and that, you know, paid till age until passing age 121. So again, very flexible in how you can adjust the premium. So hopefully you grabbed a hold of that. Now real quick, you'll notice here we have some bullet points. No height and weight guidelines for this product. You know, again, it's good having products that can meet the medical challenges and needs of the clients in the senior market, in your final expense market. Again, in the senior market, we're dealing with, you know, seniors on fixed income, and in many cases with medical challenges. So to have products that have lenient underwriting, that are accommodating in that manner, they're direct express Social Security card friendly. For those of you that are in the final expense market, you know exactly what I'm talking about. For those of you that are getting into it, you'll run across it eventually. But this is a card that's issued by the government where Social Security benefits are placed, and this is what you know, some clients use. And Transamerica is Direct Express friendly. As a matter of fact, they have a form where you can use the Direct Express as a form of payment, and we'll briefly go over that here shortly. They also accept COPD on immediate death benefit. They only have a 1-year look back for heart conditions. They only have a 2-year look back on cancer. So again, very, very flexible with their underwriting. Great product to have in your back pocket. You know, it is a paper application, which we'll go over right now, but it's a phenomenal product. Again, with the underwriting, the premiums are super competitive, and everyone in most cases knows who Transamerica is. You know, the building is an icon, so you know, people are very familiar with that name. But again, people are not buying the company, they're buying the agent. So if you're doing what's best for the client, if you have their interest at heart, you know, they're going to buy you. Now, whenever you do your application, this is our new business cover sheet. You know, we require that the applications are submitted here at the home office. You can submit those eventually through the website, through the back office of the website. You can also go and register your sales there, you know, and you have your own client CRM. That way you can keep up with that in the back office. But at the same time, you can either scan and email this into new business at Summit Alliance. Advantage.com. That actually needs to be corrected there. And then the fax number, 972-663-1866, you can send that in by fax as well. Now, once we receive this, you know, of course, this is going to allow us to account for your production, allow us to account for promotions, allow us to account for leaderboards, but it's also, even more importantly, going to allow us to put a second set of eyes on it to make sure that everything's in order. You know, guys, when applications get to the insurance carrier, we want to keep them in what we call jet issue status. Now, when the underwriter receives the application, if everything is in good order, if they can read everything, if all the pages are included, if, you know, the product matches the age of the client matches the premium, the client qualifies for the product, if all of this stuff is in good order, it's going to stay in jet issue status, and you'll get paid in a matter of days. Now, if something is missing or if something needs to be held, that same application is going to go on the bottom of the pile. It's going to come out of jet issue status, and they're going to send out what's called an amendment or a requirement or a request. The agent's going to receive that. They're going to put that request in the back office when you go check your pending, and it's going to sit there until that request is fulfilled. That request could be anything from additional information from the client. It could be because they couldn't read something. It could be because the page was missing. If we can eliminate that before it gets to the carrier, that means you're going to get paid that much more quickly. So make sure that you're filling out the new business cover sheet and submitting that through the home office so we can help expedite the issuing of the application. This is the express issue cover sheet that you'll see with your application. You can see I have the spots highlighted that you need to fill out. Of course, your agent ID, you know, so they can identify your agent, your name, basic information, your email, contact info, your phone and fax. And then below, the proposed insured's information, of course, the insured's name, last 4 digits of their social. And you want to make sure that you include the HIPAA, the accelerated benefit disclosure, because that's automatically included. And then the beneficiary insured form, you want to make sure and include that. Some agents, the reason that's highlighted, some agents will not include that because you can write the beneficiary on the front page, but Transamerica still requires that this form is included. So I want to make sure and make light of that. That way that's not missing whenever it's submitted. Now, this is the accelerated death benefit rider disclosure. Again, you're going to want to get this signed because that is automatically included with the policy. So you'll have the owner insured sign it and date it, and you as the agent will also sign it and date it. This you see the front page there on the left, and then the signature page right on the right-hand side of the screen. So again, you want to make sure and get these signed whenever you get the application completed. This is pretty much the first page of the application where you actually get the client information. You indicate the product they're applying for. Of course, you'll see the producer information again. You'll write your name, you'll write your writing number, and split. That's if you're in a situation where you're splitting the application with another agent. you can put your percentage of split that you're set to receive. In this case, there's no split, so 100% goes to the writing agent. If there were a second agent there, you would put that agent's name, that producer number, and the split maybe 50-50 or 30-70 or whatever the agreed upon split was. Part A, the plan and writer information. Under plan, this is where you're going to write the name of the product, whether it's immediate solution or 10-pay or easy solution. It's going to be one of those. Make sure and write the name of the product there that you're applying for. And then face amount. Make sure you indicate the face amount that you're applying for. And then also the total premium, the premium of that face amount. So in this case, this person is applying for $10,000 that cost them $58.59 a month. Now, rate class applied for. This is where you're going to indicate what they applied for, and we'll get into shortly how you qualify them and what they do apply for. In this case, this client preferred non-tobacco. They may qualify for standard non-tobacco, or they may qualify for the graded benefit, or preferred or standard tobacco. Again, indicate accordingly. So the accelerated death benefit rider, accidental death benefit rider. If you're including that, mark yes. If not, mark no. In this case, we are not including it, so we indicated no. The child rider, in this case, it was not included. If it was, you would indicate the amount for each child. That could be $1,000, or it could be up to $5,000 per child. Again, the amount of coverage for the child is what's going to affect the premium there, or the additional premium there. Then you have the proposed insured information. Here you're going to, as highlighted, first name, last name, the client's information, then the address. Now notice it says don't forget city, state, and zip. A lot of agents will write the street address and forget to write down the city, state, and zip, so make sure you indicate that as well. Then you have date of birth, of course, fill it in accordingly. The U.S. state or country of birth, list the state if they're born in Texas or the country they were born in. Gender, and then social security number. Number for interview. Now, it asks for a number for interview. Rarely will they do a telephone interview if you've completed the application properly. They do ask for that information in case there is some clarification needed. Maybe you answered no to a question where they pull up the medical records and they see it could possibly have been answered yes, and so they want to call the client and ask them about that. In most cases, that's not going to happen. But just in case, make sure you have a good contact number and a best time for the client to be reached. Then you also see, are you a citizen of the United States? Of course, answer accordingly, yes. If you answer no, you want to answer the other questions. Part A4, the owner, if other than proposed insured. Now here, just as it says, if other than proposed insured. Now in most cases, the insured is also the owner. Now if the owner is different, say the husband is the owner for the wife, or vice versa, the wife is the owner for the husband, then you're going to want to list that individual information here. But if it's the proposed insured is the owner, then you don't have to fill this out. Part A5, the beneficiary. Now, you can indicate the beneficiary here. Notice it says the Social Security number is not required to submit. If you have it, that's great. If not, you don't have to hold on to the application until you get it. You can still submit the application, and you can still get it processed and issued without that, as long as you have primarily the name, the date of birth, the percentage they're set to receive, and the relationship. Now, as I mentioned earlier, it does ask for the beneficiary here, but they do have a beneficiary form. So just because you write it here and maybe they only have one primary, don't neglect to fill out the beneficiary form also, because they still require that to be filled out as well, and we'll go over that here shortly. Under existing insurance, if you've listened to previous training on other products, you know that we're not looking to replace insurance unless it is in the absolute best interest of the client. You don't want to put a client in a situation where they have coverage, they're protected, and you go to apply for coverage, and for some reason you have them cancel and they don't get approved or whatever. Make sure you're doing the replacement accordingly. Make sure it's in their best interest. Make sure you get the policy approved before you cancel the previous policy, and again, make sure it's in their best interest. You don't want to you know, if you have a client that has a graded death benefit, but they're healthy, they qualify for an immediate death benefit, and they still have, you know, they just got the policy a couple months ago, absolutely you want to put them in a better situation. You want to replace that because you can give them an immediate death benefit, they can pay less for the coverage, and it can be effective immediately. So if, God forbid, if they pass away next week, they're actually covered and not just premiums back. So, you know, of course, always make sure it's in the best interest of the client. And if you are replacing it, indicate yes accordingly, indicate the reason, and make sure you fill out the replacement forms accordingly, which we'll briefly go over here shortly. This is the second page of the client information, the product information. This is where you're going to gather most of the banking information. Now up top you'll notice it has last name and last 4 digits of social. Don't forget to fill that in. A lot of agents will forget that, but you want to make sure that's on the next few pages coming up, so you want to make sure and include that on each page. Now, Part B, initial premium payment mode. You'll notice that draft initial premium upon receipt from account below is indicated. So, you know, I got a voided check, or I got the client's banking information, I indicated it below, and they're just going to draft it once they receive the application and draft the premiums out of that. Or if the client wants it drafted on a specific day, you can indicate the next option, draft initial premium, and that's why those 2 options are highlighted. Those are your most common options. A payroll deduct, you're rarely going to do that unless you know, you're doing policies for a group or a small business or a company. You know, by check, again, rarely you're going to do that. If they have a check, if they're able to pay by check, they just get a voided check and have them drafted. So down below, Part B2, checking account. In most cases, you're going to be drafting the checking account, write the name of the bank and the city and state, and of course include the account number and routing number. Reoccurring draft date, again, if they have a specific draft date that they want it drafted on, then make sure and indicate that date. Notice it has to be between the 1st and the 28th. And then have the payer sign it, if different from the proposed insured. I always have them sign it here anyway, yeah, just, you know, if the payer's different, have them sign it if it's different from the insured, or, you know, it doesn't hurt to have the insured sign anyway. Part B3, where it asks for recurring payment method. Again, in most cases, it's going to be on a monthly draft. If it's quarterly, of course, indicate accordingly, but in most cases, it'll be a monthly draft. Automatic premium loan provision. I always indicate yes for my clients. Basically, what this is stating is that if for some reason a client is ever in a situation where their policy premiums do not get paid, maybe they get sick and go to the hospital, they're not, money's not going into the bank as it should, and the premium does not get paid on the policy, and unfortunately the policy would lapse if they did not have the automatic premium loan provision. So again, if the premiums do not get paid and they do have this, then what it will do is it will pay the premiums out of the cash value, preventing the policy from lapsing. So I always do this just as a safeguard for my client, because I'd hate for them to be in a situation where whatever reason they didn't get the premium paid, but it could have been paid out of the cash value, and something tragic happens and the coverage is not enforced because it lapsed. You know, so by doing this, just kind of a safety net for your client. Payer information, the payer is the proposed insured. You know, in most cases, again, it's going to be the proposed insured. If not, indicate, you know, who it is, and then make sure and fill out the information accordingly below. This is where you're going to qualify your client for the product. Again, notice at the top it has last name and 4 digits of social. Don't want to forget that. But you'll notice it has Part C2, and it's highlighted. If any question in this section is answered yes, the proposed insured is not eligible for any coverage. And so basically, any question below that, 1, 2, or 3, if you get a yes answer, they're not eligible for any product with Transamerica. In that case, that's when we would turn to one of our guaranteed issue products. Also keep in mind, if you've listened to training before and you're doing your in-home presentation, if this comes up and your client gives you a yes answer, you don't want to say, oh, I'm sorry, you do not qualify for this. You will want to say, great, here's what you qualify for, and then explain to them the graded death benefit. Because as soon as you tell them they don't qualify for this, any other option, they're not going to hear. They're not. But if you let them know, okay, here's what you qualify for, and explain to them what they do qualify for based on the medical answers, then you know, you're going to be able to. They're going to listen, you know, because they're still in qualifying mode. So hopefully that makes sense to you. Also, In continuing on, you'll notice if where I have it highlighted almost just below the middle of the page, it says if all questions in Part C3 are answered no, proceed to Part C4, right? Pretty simple. If one question in Part C3 is answered yes, the proposed insured is potentially eligible for the graded death benefit product. Proceed to Part C5. So basically what that's saying, you get one yes answer, then they may be eligible, to be eligible for the graded death benefit product, make sure and answer Part C5. Then you'll know if they qualify for that or not. Then you also read, it says, now if you get two yes answers in Part C3, then you'll know they're not eligible for this coverage. Now, if you look at the questions, these are major medical challenges, looking for heart attack, cancer, stroke, use of oxygen, bedridden, hospitalization, Alzheimer's, Down syndrome, major medical challenges in most cases. So again, more than likely you're going to get diabetes, high blood pressure, things to that effect. You're going to get no answers. So moving on to Part C4, you'll notice, as it states below, if all questions in Part C4 are answered no, they're potentially eligible for the preferred product. So again, you got all no answers, you can quote them preferred. Let's say you get a yes answer in C4. Well, now they're eligible for the standard product. So they still get an immediate death benefit, they just don't get it at a preferred rate, they get it at the standard rate. So again, still another great option for them. Now, if two questions in Part C4 are answered yes, then they only qualify for the graded death benefit, the easy solution. So again, just by simply they've always told us the app is the map, when it comes to qualifying the client. So, based on the answers to these questions, that's going to tell you exactly what they qualify for. So pay attention to, how they answer, and that way you can direct them accordingly. And, it simply states right here, what they qualify for. So pay attention to that. This is basically the agreement for the drafting and authorization and some other authorizations. But again, as you can see at the top, make sure and include the last name and last four digits of the social. Include the date you signed it, the city and state. Make sure that they sign it, and then that you sign this as well. If you were able to get a voided check, you can include it here also at the bottom. This is a page that you'll leave with the client notifying them that we're going to check the MIB, the Medical Information Bureau. We're going to process the application and confirm the medical information, and this is also a conditional receipt. This is the supplemental information page. Fill out the insured's name and social. If there's any additional information or explanation that you could not fit underneath the medical questions, or that you needed to add to those medical questions, you can give details to that here, as far as maybe what doctor or something like that, any information that's needed to be added. And then if they added the child or grandchildren rider, you'll notice here just below, that's where you would include the name of the children. And then down below, you'll have them, of course, dated, the city and state, with their signature and your signature as well. This is your agent report, pretty basic, but it comes with all applications. Again, don't forget the last name and social at the top, last four digits of the social. If they have existing insurance, you want to answer that accordingly. Was it used to replace? Again, you want to answer that accordingly. I represent that I have personally seen the proposed insured. Now, they do require that you do this application in person. I have truly and accurately recorded on this application the information supplied by the owner and proposed insured. So you want to be able to answer that yes as well. Is the proposed insured related to you? Of course, answer this accordingly. If they are, put yes and indicate the relationship, and then sign it. If not, of course, indicate no. This is the beneficiary additional form information. Some agents will not include this. Again, I mentioned this earlier because they indicated the beneficiary on the first page as we just went over. But you'll still want to include this. It may be a little bit repetitive, but they require it. So fill it out. Fill out the primary insured's name. Fill out the beneficiary information below. And then if they have any contingent, of course, fill that out. And notice below the agent at the bottom of the page, there's a little box that says, I attest that. Make sure you indicate that before you sign it. A lot of agents will forget to check that little box and send it in, and that calls for an amendment, which means it goes to the bottom of the page. It doesn't stay in jet issue status, and it becomes a requirement. So just make sure you check that box, and then, of course, sign it, date it, and have the client sign it as well. This is the HIPAA authorization. Name of the proposed insured at the top, date of birth, last 4 digits of the social, and then have them sign it. And this is just simply stating, giving us authorization, to access their medical records, which are protected under HIPAA laws. This is a copy that you would leave with them. This is your replacing advertisement. This is simply stating that you did your due diligence and followed, and complied with the rules in connection with replacing a policy. So you'll put your name and then date it and sign it. This is the replacement form. If you're not replacing, simply indicate no and sign it below. Print and sign, or sign and print and date accordingly. Have your client do the same. If you are replacing, again, if it is in the best interest of the client, you would indicate yes, and then you would indicate the information below here, the insured's name, the contractor policy number if they have it, and the insured's name here. The insurer name would go first, and that would be the name of the company. And then, of course, the insured's name would be the name of your client. And then indicate R for replacing. And then below, the existing policy or contract is being replaced because you want to make sure that there's a reason, there's a good reason. And then, of course, sign it and date it. Now, if there's not a replacement, you still fill this out. You indicate no and just sign it and date it. This is just another notification that's left with the client. This is, again, the replacing advertisement. Again, you want to leave a copy with your client. You'll also want to keep a copy. This is the schedule of Social Security benefit payments. Remember earlier I said they are Direct Express friendly, which can come in handy if you run into that situation where a client is receiving their income through Social Security and they have the Direct Express card. That kind of is the schedule of payments to the client, and this is the form that you can utilize to use the Direct Express card. Now notice you'll have the insured's name, the birth date, the payer name. If different from the insured, in most cases it'll probably be the insured, and you'll notice that this is what the Direct Express card starts off with, the 533248. Make sure indicate the numbers accordingly, have them sign it, and have the everyone sign accordingly. The card holder indicate the premium amount that's going to be charged and the card expiration date. And this is going to allow you to basically up top you'll notice you can elect when the benefit is drafted. So if they want to pay it the second Wednesday, the third, or the fourth Wednesday, you can indicate accordingly. So again, allows you to draft have the premium drafted pretty much the same day that they receive their Social Security benefits, eliminating or helping to eliminate the chances of the policy lapsing or going bad or not being paid for. With that, again, make sure you download the attachments that are under the handout section of the webinar. I want to thank everyone for attending today. If you have any questions at all, don't hesitate to email me. Give us a call here at the office. You see my email there, jason@summitallianceadvantage.com. It should read jason@summitallianceadvantage.com. Again, if you have any questions, please don't hesitate to reach out and, put this product in your back pocket. It's a phenomenal product. If you're not already contracted with Transamerica, they have other great products that you'll end up using in the future, but their immediate solution final expense product is a phenomenal product, again, to have in your back pocket. So with that, everyone giddy up, and thank you for attending today's training.